This is the Stock Trading Reality Podcast, episode 136.
All this information is on the internet, but to have it in such a manner where it's a course or something that you can easily follow or you can go by, that's what I was missing.
This is the Stock Trading Reality Podcast, where you get to see the realistic side of a trader's journey. Get inspired and stay motivated by everyday normal people who are currently on their journey to trading success, who believes everyone should visit Michigan at least once. Clay Trader.
Unfortunately, I don't have quite the crisp voice of Tim Allen, and I don't know how far and wide they play the TV commercials and radio commercials. They play them here in Michigan. I'm not exactly sure why. But anyways, that's a side point. But if you live around the Midwest, at least, I'm sure you've seen those pure Michigan commercials where you got Tim Allen's voice and you have some great scenery and all that sort of stuff. And it's the state of Michigan trying to raise money for tourists, to come to the state. But I'm going to go ahead and pump the state of Michigan, even though I grew up in Ohio and went to Ohio State. So we're kind of like, you're not supposed to like Michigan. But I'll give credit where credit's due. Michigan has some awesome places as far as, the beaches of Lake Michigan, and then you can go up in northern Michigan. And I've never even been up to the Upper Peninsula, but I guess that's just like a whole nother world up there, waterfalls, all sorts of stuff. But what amazes me the most is if you go up far enough north in Michigan to what's called Traverse City area, literally it's like the Caribbean. You look at the lakes up there, and it looks just like you could plant some palm trees and you wouldn't know the difference. It's crystal clear blue water. And the best part is there's no stingrays, there's no jellyfish, there's no jaws out there that wants to take a bite out of your leg. It's just good freshwater lakes. And Ches, I know, Ches, by the way, is our esteemed co-host. I'm trying to think, is it your wife's family? Somebody has a house up in the Upper Peninsula, right?
Yep, yeah, it's practically Canada. It's near kind of Minocqua, and it's actually on what's called Lake Gogebic. So unfortunately, they just had to sell it actually this year. But yeah, it is like a whole different. It's just a whole different world up there. And like you said, so you've only been to Traverse City. Is that like the farthest UP you've ever been?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so I'm like across, Lake Michigan on the other side there, and it's like I said, it's practically Canada, but it's still America as America gets. And it's so the funny thing is I used to remember those pure Michigan commercials when I lived in Illinois, because obviously that's they're advertising to whoever's pretty much closest to Michigan. But I don't ever remember Tim Allen being the narrator on that. So while you were kind of talking there, I was YouTubing the Tim Allen pure Michigan ones, and now I kind of understand what you're saying.
Oh, you'll start weeping. You'll want to come to Michigan. His voice is so soothing. They're good commercials. So you would agree, though, that people should at least visit Michigan? The problem was a lot of people are like, Michigan? You mean Detroit? Yeah, Michigan is like everybody always... Wait, you mean I'm supposed to go hang out with Kid Rock and Eminem? No, there's more to Michigan than Detroit, people. I get it.
Michigan is like a huge, huge state, and like you said, you pretty much nailed it. Michigan is much more than just Detroit. It's like Detroit is actually a small section of what Michigan really has to offer.
Unfortunately, most of my experience is when you say Michigan, people's mind automatically defaults like the whole entire state.
You're from Michigan, so you're at Detroit.
So Detroit, yeah. So it's just like, oh, you mean where you can buy a house for like $10? But Western Michigan, even just do a little research. Do what Ches does. Do some pure Michigan commercials on YouTube, and consider it as a vacation. It's pretty cost effective. So
it is definitely cost effective.
But we'll move on to our interview, which was pretty awesome. We've done this before in the sense of the interview just starts off with us talking, and we've done it before when we've brought people back. But I think this is the first time that we've done it with a first-time guest. And Tom, he goes by tvesel in the chat room. He just started to kind of almost interview me at first, and we went down some interesting rabbit holes, and we're going to have to bleep out a bunch of stuff because I don't want this certain person to be sending cease and desist orders to the company and threatening to sue us. So we're just going to blot out names because I don't feel like dealing with the headache because this person's already proven to do that. But he basically, Tom starts off with an absolute horror story, and then, has since started to recover from it. But I don't want to let the cat out the bag anymore. So let's get started with the discussion. Jez, you ready to go?
No.
Okay. Well, we're going to start. Oh, INSM. Look at that thing. I want to fade that sucker.
Podcast time.
Did you see?
I know.
Did you see that one that I asked you a question with at the webinar last night?
I didn't. What was the ticker real quick, though?
OP.
Yeah, OP's N something.
OPNT?
NT. Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Did you buy the breakout?
I didn't, but
Come
holy crap, that would
on!
have been good, right? Yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah.
That's what you get for listening to me. Did
Nice.
your risk make
26
sense?
to 43. Yeah, that would have been nice.
You know what? I didn't do it.
What's the one? Here's a quiz. I'm going to put you on the spot. What's the one problem with that,
Yeah.
though? If I'm going to sticks out right away, what do you see that's a problem?
Starts with a P. Oh, and the V.
Yes.
It's going way worse than I had planned.
You're talking about the volume?
Yeah, it's not even at 100,000 shares
Yeah.
yet. So I mean,
And and actually, what I was yesterday, I like to screw around with FinViz to see different things for different swings. So I was trying some different things with a gain of 3% and then a hammer or a loss of 3% with an inverted hammer, and that one came up. I thought that actually looks pretty good with the hammer, but I didn't look at volume. So everything that we're doing the webinars and different things, I learn something every time. It's like you start to think I'm really new into this whole thing, so I think that I'm starting to get it, and then I hear something like I didn't pay attention to volume. It's like the more repetition that we get, the better off.
Well, I mean, I can
feel.
attest that, because you've always kept in touch. So those that, email me or ask questions or whatever, obviously that's easier for me to track. But you've definitely made progress. But yeah, and I mean, to be honest, and Ches can speak to this too, it's like there's always going to be something where in hindsight you're like, oh yeah, I should have looked at that. Especially on losing trades, you're always going to be like, oh, well, that was a losing trade because I forgot to look at that. Well, I mean, if it would have been a winning trade, would you have ever really?
Yeah, right.
You never even given that a second thought. So
right.
But yeah, I would definitely agree. Volume is something that you should be checking. Not that you would have wanted to avoid it, but like I said in the webinar, I mean, you'd want to, counterbalance that low volume.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to be like, yep, I'm going to go with 15,000 shares in this thing. It's like, all right, well, you literally basically would have over 10% of the the daily volume. So
yeah, exactly. Oh, hey, I was going to ask you a question. So if you remember, before I actually joined, and I joined, and the day I joined, I was thinking about CTU and I fell for the fear of missing out, or the whole bit. So I ended up doing that, and then once I did
through through that webinar thing.
Yeah, I did actually.
Shadiest sales tactic in the world.
So you did the live webinar thing.
I did the live webinar, just like
live in air quotes, live. Yeah.
Yeah. Was it PH? Is that who has a website?
Yeah,
now?
yeah. But he revised it again. But I checked on the site, and then now that one's even gone. So my guess is that he got another legal notice that was like threatening him or whatever. So
yeah, I bet. So what happened with me is I did that webinar thing, or the live webinar, and I thought, oh hell, in 3 months, I can be a profitable trader. This is perfect. So I got into it.
Is that what they say? Is 3 months?
Oh yeah, in 3 months you're
really. So that's what the webinar is saying, is in 3 months you're going to be a profitable trader.
Well, that's more or less. So what they do is 1 month of training. The whole thing is 3 months. So, and part of their system is you have you have to make a game plan, the whole bit. So at the end of the 3 months, you should be making $100 a day, and then it goes up from there. So then the next month you're $200 a day, and you're just increasing. It's like, but at the end of 3 months, you're done. You can't even get to your recordings, nothing else. So I started getting into the thing, and I thought, oh man, this is not for. I don't think this is for me. So then I actually chatted with you a little bit, Clay, and then I talked to by email, and it said, I think I might have made a mistake. I haven't downloaded anything. I didn't do anything. I said, I think I'd like to get out. And he said, well, you haven't done your homework. You're not giving it a chance. And I said, okay, because it's a 30-day guarantee. And I said, so what exactly do I need to do? He said, I want you to do it. Really try your level best. And do your homework. So I did that, and I was 3 weeks into it. It's like, this is totally a mistake. This is it. It gave some pointers or gave some information, but you see, in your training, you're annoying. You pound it down somebody's throat, so it's repetition. It's like, holy cow, Clay! I know. Well,
good.
But there's so much to that, because with the other one they gloss over it, and then it's so fast, and you get a little bit of information, but it doesn't sink in. Or maybe I'm just a slow learner, because I need more. I need more repetition. I need more pounding into my head. I need to keep doing it until it's second nature, and I didn't have that. So anyways, I tried. I asked him, I think I'd like to get out, and he said, well, before you could do that, you have to make, I forgot what it was, $500 in the sim trader. Well, I'm thinking, well, heck, if I can make $500, if I can make $500, then I think everything would be great. So at the end there, when I was thinking I got to make $500, I was I was just winging it.
I'm confused though. You have to do your homework. So what was this homework?
Homework is nothing like, it's not like
it sounds like stuff kept getting thrown at you. Like, you got to do your homework. Oh, you did your homework. Okay, well now you got to make $500. Or is the $500 part of the homework?
No, $500 is on top of it. He wants you to make $500 in the sim trainer. That means that you're actually
so after
trying.
you do your homework, which is what he originally told you to do, now all of a sudden when you've done your homework, now he's throwing something else at you.
You got to make $500 in the sim trainer. And I'm like,
goodness.
Well, if I could be doing that, I would have done it. And I think I would be, this would probably be a good fit for me, but it's not. So this is more of a, don't get me wrong, they do have some training there, but it's like I said, it's just a once over, a gloss over. And to me, with CTU, you could go back forever. When you can get back into it, or you can, if something's not hitting, you can go through the course again. You can't do that.
Not only will you get annoyed with Clay the first time around, but wait till you take the courses a couple of times. Then I promise you do finish his sentences and want to kill him. But I think it's absolutely crazy that after 3 months your access is pretty much revoked. That just seems nuts. But
I think it's absolutely crazy that the whole premise is that after 3 months you're going to be making $100 a day.
Yeah.
That's if that's not snake oil at its finest, I don't know what is. $100 a day after 3 months, and then you said the next month it's supposed to be like $200 a day.
Yeah, exactly.
So 400 or so in 4 months, you're making $200 a day. Yeah. Talk about a load of crap. We'll have to blot out the names just because.
I don't know however you want to do that, but
I don't want any lawsuits thrown at us because maybe somebody's speaking the truth. But
I'll tell you how bad it is. So. And I'm sure Nate can cut this out. Probably doesn't want it to, but they had a guy that was he was a moderator in their chat room, and he also did one-on-one mentoring. And so I emailed him because I just wasn't getting the information I needed. And so he did a Skype call with me. Super, super nice guy. Honest as the day is long. Just a great, great guy. And he said, I can't really give my opinion, he said, but things are going to change here in about a week or two. Well, he left because of their deceitful tactics is what he felt it was. So he's on his own. He's doing his own thing now, and he said it was like I said, this moderator is okay. Nate, you probably want to get this out of here, but his name is super, super nice guy, and he's modest. He's just sincere person, and it was to the point where he got out of. Because of he said ethically, I can't be involved with them. So they're shady. It's terrible.
Yeah, that's real
shady. Especially
Go
after going from that and then coming to you. It's fantastic.
Okay, I'm glad you weren't saying it got even shadier. So
yeah, it got even worse here at claytrader.com.
Yeah, I thought it was bad there, but wow. But I'm biting my tongue because. To sit there and be like, you're going to be making $100 a day after 3 months, but after 3 months, you no longer get access to the content. Well, you could have access to the content again, I'm sure, if you paid all over again. But it's, what a crock. And I'm not trying to turn this into a sales pitch for, Clay Trader University, but
it's a churn and burn. That's the business model for them. It's churn and burn.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. And whatever. Oh well. Anyways. Well, that was a super fascinating discussion. And we'll kind of get into more. Well, you kind of just gave us some of your journey, and that was a very interesting part of it. But where did actually all this start for you? I mean, where did you first hear about the markets, and kind of what got you interested enough to want to get more hands-on and involved with it?
I have always, I shouldn't say always, but I'm 47 years old, something like that. I've added to my IRA, so I've invested, and my mom was lucky enough to really catch the internet boom, and she wasn't trained, didn't have no formal education, and she did very, very well. And then she got to a certain point, she goes, I don't really feel comfortable with it. So she got out of the market right before the crash. So I saw what she did, and it was she did very, very well for herself. And I've always, like I said, I've always invested in my IRA, and my wife and I are now empty nesters at 48 years old, and we've decided that we kind of want to lighten our load in, as far as financially, we want to like to travel a little bit more
freedom and space and time.
Yeah, exactly. And ultimately, what I would like to do is be able to make a living and not be location dependent. That's my ultimate goal to everything. So, and in doing so, I want to try and we financially want to get the house paid for, get everything paid for, not have any debt, and eventually change our lifestyle so we could actually be making a living, not necessarily becoming rich, but just making a living and not be dependent on a location. That's ultimately what our goal is here.
Well, first off, the market is an absolutely great way to do that. Obviously, it takes a lot of hard work and effort, though. But that's none of this sounds, too uncommon to me at all. And there's just the fact that, I venture to say most of the places you and your wife want to visit, you're going to have internet. There's very few places in the world now that don't actually have internet. Swing trading and stuff like that. There's a ton of people who do the same exact thing. And but I mean, what actually led you to kind of have that thought, or was that kind of something that had creeped in over time as the years have gone on, and you got an empty nest now? Was that just something that kind of hit you one day, like, I think I want to kind of look into trading? I know some of my family members had some success with that in the past. Like, what was the light bulb moment that said I should look deeper into this trading stuff?
I've always been interested in the markets, always, and we've had family friends that are stockbrokers, and they've done pretty well for themselves. But I think, just seeing what, in my IRA, what I could do in my IRA, I'm thinking, well, and I don't know what the heck I'm doing. And I'm thinking, if that's just dumb luck and I'm able to do, pretty well in my IRA, just think if I educated myself and could actually put, some thought into what I'm doing. Because what I've done in my IRA is pure dumb luck, truthfully. I mean, that's all there is to it.
Well, what has been your strategy in your IRA?
Buy and hold. But actually, so I use Schwab for my IRA, and they have different tools at Schwab where they have different screeners, what they feel is an A or a B, or their rating. And ultimately, that's what I've done is go through their Schwab ratings, and if they see something that's an A, then I would do it. I would buy it with my IRA contribution. Not having any stops or not really watching, I would just buy it. And so I mean, there's a number of different years where, my $5,000 IRA contribution is, was gone in a month, and other times where it really went really well. So there's
now you said it was gone. So were you actively selling, or were you just, I mean, what do you mean by gone? Unrealized? You were down quite a bit and then it's come back? Or no, I guess define gone.
So when I say gone, so like I remember one year I bought in, and I thought, heck, I think I'm going to buy eToys. eToys was a ticker, and because it was somewhere around Christmas, so I bought eToys, and within a few months it was literally defunct. It was gone. There was
Okay, so
there
you're
was,
talking penny stocks?
No, it was not. It wasn't even a penny
this
stock.
was not a penny stock company.
No. So yeah, there's just been different times where I lost. My IRA contribution went to, for that year went to nearly nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
So you were basically not going and buying, let's say, Coca-Cola or
Right.
buying AT&T. You were buying what would be considered speculative companies.
Yeah, some of them. Other ones, I bought United Healthcare when it was, I think.
Yep.
I bought that a couple different times. The last time I bought it at 118, I think it's 200 or 199 now. So, there's certain ones that have been fantastic, and other ones that were total stinkers. And
Okay. So you summarized it perfectly by dumb luck. I thought maybe I was going to try to make a point. Well, it actually wasn't dumb luck because you were buying good blue chip companies. The trade-off would be you have to hold a long time in order to realize those gains. But no, that's not what you're doing. Some blue chips maybe, but other times you were just buying random toy companies that went defunct. So it literally was dumb luck because there was no strategy at all. So
exactly.
Well, thanks a lot, Tom. You stole my thunder. I was about to come and make a great point about the trade-off between patience and returns, but yeah, that was literally dumb luck. So you were not kidding.
Yeah.
So at what point in time were you just like? I like how you said, if I actually put some knowledge behind these actions, imagine what I can do or what I could do if I'm just doing all this, throwing darts. So how long did this quote unquote dumb luck stage go before you decided and before that kind of light bulb came on where you were thinking, I want to get more knowledgeable. And then after that, what was your next step?
So probably about, I suppose, 2 years ago, then I really started trying to dig in with educating myself, not formal education, just internet-based, me looking through the internet, Dr. Google. And it was I learned some things, but I think you've summed it up. You said before, all this information is on the internet, but to have it in such a manner where it's a course or something that you can easily follow or you can go by, that's what I was missing. So like I said, probably about 2 years ago, I started to more investing, educating myself, and I started learning a little bit. But I in December of 16, so not quite a year ago, I decided, okay, it's time to actually invest in my education, and that's when I started to actually pay for education.
So correct me if I'm wrong. First off, I loved your Dr. Google reference. It definitely makes sound better than Googling things. So Dr. Google, I'm going to have to use that in the future. But we're in full agreement that there's a ton of information out there. But correct me if I'm wrong. The problem you had was that it's not really structured. It's just tidbits all over the place. And then if you're lucky, you can hopefully splice it all together. Is that right?
That's exactly what it is. And who knows? There's so much information out there. Who knows if it's true, or if it's if it's just somebody's thoughts, or until you have an actual program or have an actual course. To me, anyways, that's what I needed, and I'm not smart enough to put it all together. I can't put all the pieces together just from the internet. I need more structure, so that's what I decided to invest in.
Gotcha. Well, first off, we're obviously glad you found this place, and after the horror story from before, what we really try to do here is we understand that becoming a profitable trader can take more than 3 months, and more likely than not, it should take you the 3 months just to at least go through the courses and maybe even just start paper trading then. But obviously we're going for much more of a, especially for our university members. If you guys aren't aware, you're pretty much members for life and have access to everything that was ever started from day one here, which is kind of, in my opinion, that's exactly why I personally joined, because I realize that it's going to take kind of a continuous education cycle. It's not just something you check the checklist off, I took a course and then I'm done. Trading, it changes every single day. The market's different every single day. A lot of this stuff is the exact same, but still, there's different times of volatility. Trading around the election time was a real eye-opener and how crazy that stuff was. But so you go through, you joined pretty much university in December, and I'm assuming...
Actually,
you just got a couple courses?
No, actually, I joined a different competitor in December, and I actually joined CTU in March of 17.
Gotcha. Okay, so, and I think we kind of covered it earlier. You are. It sounds like you were pretty pleased with switching over to Clay Trader. Or is that? Am I just putting words in your mouth now?
No, I couldn't be happier. I really couldn't, because I love the constant. Going to the chat room. You can always get a hold of you or Clay or Nate for that matter, and to have somebody there that while I'm learning to simply text and ask a question, and just to have somebody there is comforting, and to have that community is huge. I'm a lurker in the chat room. I don't.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
nothing wrong with that. A lot of some people pipe up too much. Other people, like Tom here, don't pipe
so
up enough.
So true.
But at the same time, like you said, it's more about. We don't need you to do a bunch of contributions and welcome every new member. You are here for the community, and that's exactly what you're getting out of it. So now you've been a member here for about 6 months, and have you kind of gone through all the courses now? Are you paper trading? Are you still working your way through the courses? What's that kind of looking like for you?
Before you answer that, though, I had a quick question just so I can gain a little context there. What was your goal going in to education as a whole? Were you always wanting to trade stocks, or were you open to options? Or, I mean, what particular vehicle have you always kind of had at least your focus on?
I've always done stocks, equities.
Okay.
Just strictly because I didn't know anything else. I didn't know about options, so I have not dabbled into options yet. I haven't gone through the options courses. What I'm trying to do is get a general, really hammer in my general understanding and my chart knowledge, trying to acquire my chart vision to what, like we said earlier, to watch the chart, to watch the volume, to really pay attention to the volume and the different patterns, and then once I get that, then I want to go into options and see if maybe options are something I want to work with.
Okay, so the whole time you were used to stocks, so you always want to do stocks. It's not like you joined any of these, educational programs because you wanted to learn something else. You've always been focused on stocks, and obviously now like you said, you're working on your chart vision and you want to learn how to use charts. So,
yeah.
Are you to kind of circle back to Chez's question? Are you paper trading right now, or are you still going through courses? What exactly does kind of your current status of things look like?
So I've gone through probably half of the courses, but I did paper trade when I was with the other program, and then when I came to CTU, I was paper trading. I was you guys are going to love this. With the other program that I was with, I joined Sure Trader, and yeah, I know.
Been
it's
there.
Terrible.
It's a rite of passage, but if you could avoid it, please God, avoid it. Just stay away.
Oh, no kidding. And somebody said, as far as commissions, death by 1,000 paper cuts. It could not be any more true than that when you think about it, especially when you're learning. And when you do have a winner, they're usually not that big. And to have the commissions where they're at, especially if you're trying to scale out, when you're scaling out, if you go in and mitigate at a certain point and then hit your stop, that's $15 in commissions per trade with Sure Trader. It's like,
let me ask this real quick. Was this other program, the Horror Story program, was there what they were trying to teach you? Did it involve scaling out and all that stuff?
Yes. Yeah, it did. Yeah,
so,
yeah.
And they're the ones that shoved you to Sure Trader, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they did. In
Okay.
fact, they said you get somewhat of a discount for going for them.
Yeah. See, so this is, that other person you mentioned, his feelings were absolutely right. So let's put this into the context. Okay, our strategy that we're teaching people means you have to scale out. Fine, I have no qualms with that. But we're going to get kickbacks if we shove them to this broker right here. Mm-hmm. Sure, this broker is going to rack them over the coals with commissions.
Rake them over the coals.
There we go. Chez, I knew that. See, that's why you get
There's a reason
co-host
I'm here,
of the year every year. Because
he's not just a pretty face.
Yeah, exactly. He's much more. So, you know what? Our strategy is you scale out a bunch of times, but let's just rake them over the coals and shove them to a broker that's going to just whoop them because we're going to get a kickback. So that's just, shady business practices at best. Is here you are trying to use this broker that they recommend to do their strategy that they're teaching you, yet it's totally counterintuitive because the broker that they're shoving in your face is making basically their strategy impossible because of all the fees they're charging you. If that's not like a catch-22, just counterproductive.
It's
shady at best.
Take a breather, Clay. It's okay.
Yeah,
we know.
That's bad.
Yeah.
That's rough. That's rough.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it just drives me nuts because I know what's going on behind the scenes with this person sending out lawsuit or threatening lawsuits against people that are just telling the truth about what's going on. So it's just that extra. Anyways, so talk to us more about SureTrader because they have high fees. What were your other experiences? Because Ches and I will hear it all the time. Hey, I'm thinking about SureTrader because I can get around the pattern day trader rule. So I mean, I don't think we talk about them a lot enough. But when we do have somebody that's brave enough to fess up to using them, so thank you for that. Just share with the listeners what else. So fees, like you said, absolutely terrible. I mean, any other experiences with them?
Well, the fees are huge. So they use the DAS trader. And I think that was $125, $130 a month, somewhere like that, I believe, that you had to pay.
They charge for that now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
So,
okay.
So you have to. When you think about it, that does include level 2 though, also in that fee. So you have to make. You have to profit, after your commissions, you have to profit, $120, $130 a month just to break even after, because of the fees. So, it was expensive in that respect. Plus the commissions, of course, are high. And then trying to get any customer service was really, really a bugger. So when you're, trying to get the money out, when eventually I decided, okay, I got to get out of this. And, I switched to interactive brokers. I don't have enough to get over the PDT, where I should say that we have savings and I could do it, but I don't want to get into our savings. What I'm trying to do is let's
stay on topic. Let's keep bashing SureTrader with the facts. We'll get back to that though. I could sense the tangent you're headed on. Yeah, don't go down that rabbit hole quite yet.
Customer
service. Walk us through customer service.
It's nearly non-existent to get customer service. It is very, very. If you do chat, you can't call them, or I've never got through calling, but you can chat. Even when you chat, there's probably a 10-15 minute wait to chat, and there may be super nice people that are working there, but let me just say that the customer service leaves a lot to be desired. That's for sure.
Well, I wanna jump in here. I'm not sure if you had heard from the other podcast. So while they might be the nicest people in the world, they're not able to kind of function and use a calculator, because I remember when I deposited money there, I was actually shorted a couple $100, and I had to send a frantic email how do you not understand what I deposited? What kind of operation is going on here? So they probably do all that kind of stuff by hand, which, obviously interactive brokers and those guys, everything else is automated there. But yeah, I logged into my new shiny SureTrader account and it was missing money already on day one, and I was like, well, this is going to go poorly. I can just already tell now. But could be the nicest people in the world, can't use a calculator. Like I said, they understand the type of people who are going to come to them, and obviously they're doing really well considering it kind of avoids some laws, and there's some gray area there that they're utilizing. But it sounds like you kind of realized. I guess, how long were you actually at SureTrader before you decided that this wasn't going to work for you?
Probably about 3 months, I'd imagine. Yeah, pretty close to 3 months. And what really scared me was, it's an offshore broker, so anything could happen. I mean, I don't think they're governed by our laws. So I mean, there's really a leap of faith. There's really a leap of faith.
Hit the ATM and hop in a boat because they're in the Bahamas. Yep, they can just hop in a boat and drive away.
Yeah, I was thinking, what the heck am I doing here? So I eventually was able to get out of that, and then switch brokers.
It sounded like you were originally talking about trying to withdraw some money, and was that kind of a clown show, or is that a pretty smooth process?
No, it was not smooth. Not smooth at all. IB, I shouldn't say that. I haven't tried taking money out of IB yet. I haven't made any money to take it out. So
I promise you, it's real easy.
yeah, well, going in, like even transferring in was at IB was amazing compared to doing a wire transfer and the different baloney they had to do with SureTrader. It's, man, if that
define
that's one
baloney.
thing.
Define baloney, because everybody thinks it's all rainbows and butterflies and sweet little kittens until they get into the trenches. So tell your trench story about trying to withdraw money. What was all this baloney?
Well, I think it ended up taking, once I did the paperwork, or for the withdrawal, I think it was 2.5 weeks before it was actually in my account in the States, and I had to email and text them for the last week to get them. And I actually made up a bit of a story. I said I had health issues and I needed the money and blah blah blah, thinking maybe that would help out a little bit. But yeah, it's they take their sweet time giving your money back. That's for sure.
And I know there's newer listeners out there that are going to probably jump to the aid of SureTrader, saying there's no way I could day trade, even though that's not true, without a broker like SureTrader. I want to tell you the biggest red flag in the world. SureTrader, along with some other, European Forex brokers, is the only place in the world I've ever seen a broker say you can fund your account with a credit card.
Credit card.
Yeah.
Yes. So I actually was so nervous about using them. I used the credit card because I'll just charge it back if they try to rob me or something like that. That could have been a whole process in itself. Now, here's the thing, though. Since you funded your account with a credit card, you can only get paid the way you funded it. So they just will put refunds on your credit card. So I was like, how do people seriously justify that this is a real broker? Do you think anybody with a 6-figure account is getting like refunds on their credit card and this is how they kind of do it? This is just the fact that you can fund a trading account with a credit card is like, just such a no-no. And I remember I unfortunately used it, but I was using it more as like I have like, fraud protection and stuff like that. But yeah,
that's okay. Yeah. We're all was this one of your moron moments when you first got started? We all have moron moments. This is
brand new moron moment, penny stock, SureTrader Ches. Yes, that's correct.
Okay, because my big moron moment, if you're not familiar with the show, is paying like $60 in commission one way. So we all have moron moments.
But the thing is, when I was brand new, I didn't know any better, and most people don't know any better, and it sounds like it's a perfect deal, and
what's that saying? If it sounds too good to be true,
yeah.
I can't remember how the rest of that saying goes.
Yeah.
But, hook, line, and sinker.
But Ches nailed it earlier when you said that there's a certain demographic that they're going after.
Yeah.
And if for you listeners, if you can't connect the dots of the demographic, the whole funding your account with a credit card, I hope that should have the dots colliding right now in terms of what their business model actually is, who they're trying to go after, and I guess for you, Tom, good on you at 3 months, relatively short amount of time where you're just like, all right, I need to move on. So on that note, you found Interactive Brokers. So what did you like about Interactive Brokers? Kind of, how did you hear about Interactive Brokers? Walk us through kind of that little rabbit hole of this whole broker.
Well, at that point, I was actually with CTU, and a lot of the members of CTU use Interactive Brokers. And to me, with the CTU, or I'm sorry, with the chat room, there's a lot of people. They're normal people, and they're honest and sincere. It's not like Clay Trader talking, because who knows if you're being sincere or not, if you're being truthful, if you're just trying to sell your product. But these are people that are actually in there. They have nothing to gain, and everybody in the chat room, and they all, everybody I talked to had nothing but great things to say about Interactive Brokers. So that's ultimately why I did Interactive Brokers.
So it's not like, and to your point, it's not like, what broker should I use, guys? And then a bunch of affiliate links shows up for Interactive Brokers. I assure you the chat room does not, operate like that. But Interactive Brokers, IB, they are one and the same. So what did you like? So everybody said it was a great broker, but what did you particularly like about it? Especially compared to SureTrader. Besides, we'll give customer service. Sounds like Interactive Brokers are probably much better, but what other functionalities have you kind of learned to really enjoy and find useful with interactive brokers?
Well, as far as the platform goes, the platform is just amazing. I love the chart trader on interactive brokers, where you can actually. I'm more of a visual person, so with other systems, when you're punching in numbers, where here you can actually, with interactive brokers, when you're using chart trader, you actually have a line. It shows you where you got in. It shows you where your stop is. When I move my stop, it's only because I'm in a profitable trade and my stop is going down, or I'm trying to
reducing
keep
risk, right?
Yeah, right, exactly. Where you can actually see it with your eye and see where you can see your entry, and you can see where your stop is, and you can see exactly what's going on. I just absolutely love their actual trading platform. It's amazing, and getting money is simple.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of and I've used interactive brokers in the past too. It's just a much more. They've taken the time. There's a reason why interactive brokers can afford to kind of, put on television ads that are, for the Super Bowl and stuff like that, because they make a good amount of money in commissions, but at the same time, they really do offer a good customer experience. I mean, I used to be able to hop on the chat and get answers in like 5-6 minutes if I ever had an issue with anything, and rarely had any outages or anything like that. But I wanted to kind of loop back into something else, and I think, Clay, I don't know if you would agree with this, but it seems like, I'm not sure if it's just different ways that people learn, but I'm in the same boat as Tom in the sense of anything that has a visual chart trader. I used to, when I traded futures, I used the visual chart trader for interactive brokers. I use Sierra Chart, TradingView, you can do it too. I just think it helps people better visualize. Spoiler alert for some of the webinars, we actually, when we're doing trade plans and stuff like that, we're visually setting up our risk versus reward, targets, stops, all of that. And I think it just almost is a more seamless way for people, especially when they're just getting into it, to kind of visualize it, to see that, oh yeah, that totally fits my RVR criteria or anything like that. But, you never really had a chart trader though, did you, Clay? Because I know you use eSignal and stuff like that, and I know you can link them, but you've never used a visual chart trader, have you?
Yeah, right now I feel like a straight up caveman savage. I mean, I might as well be using like a stick and rock to try to start my fire over here, because that was a good sales pitch. And the funny part is, just yesterday, David Kraus, who's been a guest in the past, he was talking about why he liked interactive brokers over Lightspeed, and Lightspeed's a broker I use. But this is all just personal preference, right? At the end of the day, remember, listeners, a broker is just a tool. If you don't know how to use a tool, it doesn't matter anyways.
They will not make or break you.
Yeah,
you are the ultimate reason for that.
Exactly. And David's point was exactly what Tom was just saying. The chart trader makes everything super visual. But I didn't realize you can now. Tom, can you like click right there and say that's where I want my new stop loss to be, and then it automatically changes your stop loss to that?
Yeah. So when the way I have it set up is I have it so when I enter, I automatically have a stop. And so the second I enter, I have my stop already set, and then I can adjust my stop however I want to. So you just go up and Clay, it's like when you're doing your webinars and you actually have your entry or your stop with your horizontal lines.
The line.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. When you move that line, you're moving your stop. It's amazing.
Oh,
I love
wow.
it.
Yeah, that
it's really nice.
Yeah, that's definitely a good sales pitch. And you said TradingView has that, Ches?
Well, TradingView now can link to certain brokers, so by no means am I advocating that you use TradingView to your execution and stuff, but what I've tried to tell people lately is that since TradingView charts are essentially free, it's a great way to paper trade, because you can paper trade right on the charting platform, and it's exactly like Tom was saying, and you can set limits, stops, and there's just click and drag, and it'll literally update your orders for you. Very, very visual. It's pretty much, it just is a very seamless way to kind of go from what you teach in the courses to actually applying it to charts, in real time. So that's why I kind of recommend that for paper trading to people lately.
Exactly.
I mean, I've been with Lightspeed for years,
Caveman.
but yeah, I don't know, Lightspeed. If you're listening, maybe think about a chart trader, and I'll just, I don't know. The dark side is Luke. No, never mind. I'm not going to do Star Wars because that really doesn't make any sense. So
it's kind of funny.
I would be so uptight right now, but given this is like episode 136, I am past the point of really caring what people think. I've had every mean thing possible said about me. So at this point, Yeah, whatever. That made no sense, but I don't care.
Caveman savage.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm a caveman savage. I'm over here right now trying to start a fire with Flint. So
Yeah.
you're gonna say something, Tom, before my ill-advised Star Wars quote popped up.
Yeah, you're talking about when I was saying that I'm a more visual person. When I was using when I was with SureTrader, and I had Hotkeys set up, so I had a thing where I got into a trade and I hit my hotkey, and instead of going short, I went long, and I thought, and then I panicked, like, oh, what the heck? So I hit it again. And then I hit it again. Well, every time I did that, I bought 200 shares, 200 shares, 200 shares.
Triple the size, yeah.
But
Nice.
but the wrong way. And then I have an oh heck key that I had programmed in, and so I hit that, and that was a $600 loss. And it was like, and at that point, I only had $5,000 in SureTrader, and it's like devastating to me. It's like, oh my God. And that's why I'm saying that I'm so much more a visual person. So if I can actually have lines on my chart and see exactly what it is, I'm not going to be the fastest. I don't need to be the fastest. That's not the way that I'm comfortable trading. So if I can just move a line down and that's my stop and know what I'm doing, that's a confirmation that I need.
Nice. And I love what you said, you're not going to be the fastest, nor is any human being out there. The only way that you can be the fastest is go find an investor that's going to invest into super high fiber optic cable, hire some good quants that can write some good programming for you, and then go and buy a supercomputer, and then you can be the fastest trader out there. But yes, for us mere mortals, there's only so much you can do with speed. So
Yeah.
I love how you said that, because none of us are ever going to be the fastest ever. It is what it is in this day and age, but you don't need to be the fastest ever. You need to let the computers do their thing, and then we'll do our things as human traders. So you are trading with real money. Is that accurate?
I am. I have been ever since I've been with CTU. But
very
small.
Let's pick it up. So has it always been very small, or did you have to learn a tough lesson by starting off too big? But I guess walk us through, because you were paper trading with Horror Story company.
Yeah.
Then you come to CTU, and I do remember you saying you started with cash. So let's pick it up from there. How did that all unfold? What was, I guess, why? Why cash? What made you decide to change over?
With Horror Story, I was paper trading. Then I went cash, and then I got beat up pretty good. Then I went back to paper trading, and I could do pretty darn good with paper trading. There's no pattern day trading rule. There's to me, there's not quite as much emotions. I've heard you ask this before. I was very realistic with my size. It wasn't like I was doing 10,000 shares or something. I was doing 100 shares, and I had a stop at my certain point where that was all realistic. And there's just something about paper trading. I think paper trading is good to get to get a handle on your software, on your
chart.
Platform familiarity with it. Yep.
Yeah. But so you're not making, like I said before, hitting my hotkey and I'm adding when I'm supposed to be taking off. That kind of thing. Paper trading is fantastic for, and I think you need to paper trade to a certain point. But then eventually the rubber has to hit the road. The rubber has to meet the road where the emotions. Even if I only have 10 shares, money's money. I mean, that hits home. So it's way harder for me, anyways, to be profitable with real money versus paper trading. Paper trading, I feel it's like I said, it's easier to let it get right up to your stop. I always have stops either way I go. But I don't feel emotion. There's not that much emotion when it's going to be like, oh man, it's going to hit my stop. Going to hit my stop. Where when you have the real money, it's night and day difference for me.
So I feel like Clay is going to start crying over there, because first off, kudos to you. When you say rubber needs to hit the road, you're absolutely right. But I'm so glad to hear you say, instead of 100 shares that I even paper traded with, I'll just put 10 on. Or, it could be as low as you want. It could be 1/10 of the size you were paper trading with, if you still aspire to get to that size. Like I said, we always talk about and preach about how keep it realistic. If you're going to be trading 100 shares, then at least practice with 100 shares. But at the same time, the emotional disconnect is very true, but it doesn't even matter your size so much, pretty much, because once money's on the line, that's when all these terrifying voices and awful, the devil sitting on your shoulder telling you to do everything horrible in the world that comes out. But that's the thing, though, is you have to start to experience that without kind of putting your account at risk. So very glad to hear you kind of do that. But, yeah, it's just a very, very, and correct me if I'm wrong here, I was thinking a lot about this before. You are much more willing to forgive yourself for a losing trade in your paper account because you're like, oh, okay, no big deal. But then a losing account on your actual account, you're like, oh, that was X%, and I got to recover this now and figure this out. It's a much different psychological game. But I'm in full agreement that you do need to paper trade not only to get familiar with their platform, but to kind of at least ensure you know what you're looking for an entry and an exit and stuff like that. But it's those voices they'll get you.
Yeah, for sure. See, and right now I don't have a fully funded account, so I'm not over the PDT roll. So and every chance I get, I'm putting money in to try and get that up to the so over the 25, and so I have limited trades, per week. I only have 3 trades, and I use those very, very sparingly, and it's almost, there's certain times like I get almost more mad at myself for wasting a trade versus the money, because I don't have that much money. The trades are not, I don't have huge size, and I don't have huge risk because of my stop loss. But every chance, those are like gold. Those trades are like gold if you're not fully funded, and that's what I think the lure of SureTrader is you can trade as much as your heart's content.
And pay as much as commissions as their heart's content as will gladly accept. So now, what kind of trading are you doing? I'm assuming these are all intraday, short-term day trades, or are you doing some swing trading also?
So I I'm starting to do more swings, and it's because of my work schedule that I can do a little bit in the morning, and that's about all I can actually fit in. And so I'm starting to try and do a little bit more swing trading. And that's there again. I do some swing in my retirement account and then my day trading account. And when I say day trading, I'm just talking interactive broker. So it's day trading, swing, same thing. So I'm just starting to dabble a little bit with swings in my IB account.
Okay, and do you have any sort of, I guess, let me ask this. What does your routine look like? You mentioned, your work schedule, so you currently have a job. So when are you kind of doing your homework? Is this something pre-market in the evenings? But, walk listeners through kind of how you're constructing your trade plans, how you're constructing all of that, as somebody with a day job.
So for swings, I try to go every night. My wife and I talked about this, and what I would like to do, and she's 100% on board. So all the time I need, she's fantastic with it. Couldn't ask for anything better. But so I either every single night I either do coursework through CTU. I do if it's a live webinar night, I try to do that. Sometimes I go through back webinars. But then I always try and look at going through FinViz and do some scans, and then make a watch list. And that's how I've been doing my swings. And I'm very, very in the beginning stages of doing that. I've done more paper with swings than anything so far. So that's how I handle the swings. As far as the day trading aspect of it, I will go in, and I have with IB, they have scanners that are great that I use. I also use Thinkorswim, use their scanners, and I did when I was with the other program. They strongly suggested Trade Ideas, so I got a 1-year subscription to Trade Ideas, which is great. So between those 3 scanners, a lot of them, there's a lot of redundancy between those 3 scanners. So I think I'll be able to get rid of Trade Ideas, because there's with IB and Thinkorswim, the scanners that I have set up a lot of them are the same ones. So I'll take a look at the scanners and see what the active ones are. Then what I try to do is have one or two on watch. I don't know if I'm not quick enough or what exactly it is, but if I try to watch 5 or 6, I'll miss everything. So I need to go down to either. I try to go down to 2 when it comes time, and that's the way I do my morning.
And I promise you, as time goes on, you will be able to start kind of watching more at a time, but especially being kind of newer to this, you only have 2 eyes. In reality, you can only focus on one monitor at a time, but trying to do multiple trade plans, multiple entries, scaling, all this kind of stuff, less is more, especially in the beginning. So only, focusing on 2, and hopefully, if you found one that's got a lot of volume and interest, you should have some good volatility and range. But yeah, later on, especially if you go down the swing trading route and stuff like that, you can watch many more because you don't have to make split-second decisions. That's what day trading really kind of will test you, is your split-second decision-making. But, Tom, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on today, but I do have to ask you, what did you think your particular strengths are right now in trading?
I would have to say my strength would have to be sticking to my stops. I forgot, there was a podcast not too long ago. They're saying that actually sticking to your stops too much, not sticking to your stops, but trying to reserve your capital might hinder you sometimes. I'm almost to that point, actually. But my one positive thing is I will never, ever, once I set a stop, I'll never move it to give myself more room. I'll only move it to lock in profits.
Right. Your risk is only going to be getting smaller. You're never going to move your stop loss where all of a sudden your risk is getting bigger.
Exactly. Yep.
That's I'm kind of jealous. That's a great strength to have. Most people, that's always a weakness, and so yeah. I'm a little. Is that what I'm jelly? Is that what the kids are saying these days, Ches? I'm jelly.
Oh boy, Clay, go water
Is that what the high schoolers are saying? I
gotta.
Oh man, I'm just trying to stay hip.
Caveman.
I'm jelly. I'm jelly over here. Okay, of your strength.
Nice.
What about some things that you probably need to work on? So weakness, probably, yeah. We'll call it what it is, a weakness that you're saying, yeah, Tom, that's something I need to be focused on and keep on working with.
I would have to say I have to have better timing. When I see, I have to watch for my entry, and it's starting to sink in now where I know where my entry should be, and trusting that it's time, and then actually committing and hitting the button and actually clicking. Where there's certain times where I'll see a descending triangle, and I'll say, okay, that's a certain point, I need to get in there, or I can just below, if it breaks that line, I should enter, and I'll be watching it, and it goes, and I miss it. It's there's a certain point where I need to commit on certain things.
And this all kind of plays into kind of the emotions and stuff like that kind of play into it, because I am the same way. For more than a year, I was extremely gun shy, because I was like, if I take the trade, then I could lose. And then at the other hand, if you never take the trade, you never make anything either. So yeah, that's just another thing you're going to have to wrestle with and wrangle with. And I promise you, if you keep your trade size small enough, eventually it's not that you don't care, it's that you're indifferent to it being a winner or a loss. And that's what trading is. It's just really a numbers game and a probabilities game, but it definitely takes time. None of this 3 months and you're making $100 a day and then $200 a day.
Chaz, I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to press my buttons with that.
I'm baiting you, yeah. I'm baiting you into this one.
Me.
You know what? I almost
Tom, if I was
go ahead. I'm gonna say the way I almost feel about it is I need to try and I need to survive. As far as my capital, I just needed to survive until I get beat up little by little and learn from it. From every hit you learn a little bit, and that's my thing at this point. I just need to, I need to stay in the game until I get it. That's my biggie.
And you're already ahead of the game, because most people go big or go home, and all of those folks generally go home, and we've seen it a bunch of times. So you are in survival mode, learning mode, and kind of, keeping yourself in the game for the long haul, and that's what ultimately it is. But if I was to lend you my time machine and you could go back to any point you want in your life and pretty much give yourself one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
I think it would be starting my education sooner. I think that's really the only thing that I would change.
Now, just starting it in sense of just hopping into a structured program right away, or starting Dr. Googling even sooner. How are you defining start your education?
A structured program. I think
Okay.
Dr. Google might have. I learned maybe a little bit there, but it's kind of wasting time to really get to jump in to a structured program. I wish I would have done it sooner. And of course, I'm biased with CTU, but that's really, really hard to try and find a program that somebody's not just out there to try and make money off you. And of course, you're in business, so you're trying to make money, but the internet's kind of a scary place.
But there is no place else on the site. I assure you, where the drift, the implications are, within 3 months you're going to make $100 a day. Yeah, there's. So I get what you're saying. There is nothing on the site that suggests anything of that nature.
No.
More often than not, we're telling people to get their head out of the clouds and be ready for the long haul. More than anything, we're like dream crushers more than anything.
Many times we're like, your best option right now is to go get a job. Trading's not for you at this point in time. And we have several videos on that. So. Sorry to cut you off, Tom.
No, I was saying that you're exactly right. Of anything, you're so realistic in your sales that it might hurt your sales. As far as because you're not saying what people want to hear. You're being truthful.
Yes, and the truth can be costly, but I don't know. People, we're still going strong at 136. So apparently, people also like the truth. So, that's the kind of people we want to surround ourselves with anyway. So I mean, it's the people that show up wanting to, be degenerate gamblers. Yeah, you're really not gonna. You're gonna find our community to be a bunch of jerks, because we'll just tell you right off the get-go. Yeah, you're a gambler. What are you doing? Maybe you should go get a job if you're trying to grow an account. But anyways, we're spinning out of control. But we're gonna spin to my favorite. Well, not really the favorite part, but this is the part you should be nervous about. The fun questions. Tom, what is your favorite movie?
I like dumb movies. So my favorite movie is Joe Dirt, without question.
That was super pop. I remember when I was back in college. That was David Spade. Have you ever seen that one, Chaz?
Absolutely, and I've seen it more than once too. It's what would it be considered, kind of stupid comedy, or just
it's definitely dumb. Yeah, just a dumb old comedy.
It's not a movie that's going to challenge you to think in any way, but it will make you laugh. At least it used to.
I love it.
Laugh. It's not a Casablanca,
It is not a Casablanca. That is definitely for sure. But Tom, what would you say is your favorite meal and dessert?
I would have to say either a nice ribeye or smoked ribs, and then right now I'm digging any type of Halo Top ice cream. Love it.
Yeah, that's just like stuff that's supposed to be super healthy, right?
You can eat, I don't know if it's a pint or what it is, but like 200, 300 calories. It's amazing.
Yeah, so that's it, and it's good.
It's fantastic. I love it. I mean, some are better than others, but
okay,
you got to try it. Right.
But I mean, for the calories of it, it's not like you're eating cardboard.
Oh God, Arctic Zero is like eating cardboard. Halo Top is amazing.
Okay, I've seen it at the local grocery store.
Yeah, I have too.
Yeah, and I was okay. Based on your recommendation, I'm gonna have to give it a try.
You gotta try it. It's great.
Now, what about flavors? Are there any flavors you should avoid, or is it pretty much fire at will?
They're all pretty good. My favorite is the one with I think it's chocolate peanut butter. My favorite, like a Reese's almost.
Okay. And it's only 300 calories?
It's there's some of them are 280, some are 320, but they're right around 300 calories for the whole pint.
Well, that's sounds like
so you can feel less bad about eating the whole pint, Clay.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, exactly. It sounds like I found my dessert for this weekend. So,
you've got to try it. I want to hear how you like it.
No, I will definitely try it for sure. What do you like to do for hobbies outside of the market? What do you do for fun and hobbies?
It's kind of funny right now. The market is my hobby. I mean, every chance I get, like even when I'm driving, I'll listen to podcasts or books on tape about trading. But I love it. But probably in the summer, camping. My wife and I like to go camping.
Nice.
Man after my own heart.
I was going to say, Kelly, you're going to like that.
Yeah, Kelly and I think have been out almost 30 days so far for this this summer. So that is like a new world record for both of us. So we've been out 4-day trips, 3-day trips. We're just camping on Labor Day.
Fantastic.
But, yeah, that's awesome.
Love it.
Yeah, it's nice to get out and sleep in the fresh air. But what do you think are 3 words you believe should be associated with successful trading?
I was thinking about it because I have listened to every podcast, but I'm thinking passion. I think you really have to love this game. Passion would be 1. Patience, waiting for a trade to actually come to you, not forcing trades. And then humility, to really know when you're wrong and admit when you're wrong.
I thought you were going to go for P cubed: passion, patience, and persistence. But I like humility. Humility. You won up me big time there. That was good. PPH.
Yeah,
I like
PPH.
it. PPH. But very well said. This was awesome. See, here's the thing. I don't really have much to contribute. Let's see. You contributed. People without question will learn and think twice about SureTrader. They're going to now know about the cool trading function of Chart Trader with interactive brokers for those that are visual people. They're going to understand how that you kind of do your scans and stuff for the job. So there's 3 things right off the top of my head where you thought you didn't have much to contribute. Ches, Tom, he just dropped some major experience bombs on newer traders and really anybody listening, right?
Anybody who says they don't have much to contribute or say is always the ones who have great pieces of advice for people. So yes, just like we had predicted in the beginning, a ton of great little nuggets of information for not only new traders, but those who've been around the block a couple times too.
Yep, and a personal thank you from both Ches and I. You volunteered. I sent out an email relatively recently saying, hey, is anybody up for telling their story? And you replied back. So this was not like us pulling teeth. So in all seriousness and sincerity, thank you very much. It always makes our life much easier. Now, would you come back? That's really the next big question, so we can hear about how all this continues to unfold for you. So at a later date, or you want to hang out again?
I would love to. And when I come back, I'd like to say, yeah, so now I've got it, or it's all clicking. Because right now, it's the point where I don't have it, but certain things click. It's like, it's coming. I'm almost there. And eventually I want to be there.
Yeah. And like I said, at the beginning, I've watched your progress, and you're definitely making progress in the right direction. And I mean, at the end of the day, as long as you keep that strength of being just a grumpy old guy when it comes to honoring that stop loss, that's a great characteristic to have. I mean, your account will be around a long time if you can just manage risk like you seem to be pretty gung-ho about. So, Tom, thank you very much for hanging out, and I appreciate you taking some time out of your day.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
For you listeners out there, a final few things before we go. First off, if you are listening on YouTube, check out the rest of the channel. Lots of other good content, live trading videos, quick tip videos. There's a vlog, lots of good stuff. So check out the other videos and hopefully ultimately decide to subscribe to the channel. If you're listening on iTunes or any of the other podcast players, be sure to subscribe so you can be up to date on when new episodes are released. And especially on iTunes, if you could leave us a positive rating, that goes a long way and helps Ches and I out quite a bit. And finally, if you're listening on the show notes page at claytrader.com, be sure to leave us a comment below. Click that share button. We do read comments. We will reply to them and are more than happy to interact with you if you have something to say or feedback to give or whatever. So thank you again to our esteemed co-host Ches. Thank you again to our guest Tom. And thank you to you as viewers. We will see you back next week.
This has been the Stock Trading Reality Podcast. Thanks for taking the time to hang out. To learn more about Clay and the Clay Trader community, including the trading team, premium training, and more, visit claytrader.com.